Type Soul has finally released for the 4th time.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Genuinely, how are you people falling for this game? For the 4th time, 40,000 people genuinely expect something out of this game. Why? I haven't even played the game yet, and I still know it's gonna be a complete buggy mess. And would you look at that? The game literally only lasted 1 hour before shutting down. What? You mean the Type Soul dev team released a buggy mess? What do you mean they couldn't learn from their past 3 other mistakes? This has to be the most incompetent dev team I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm gonna say this again. How do you guys keep falling for this? They had to have added something crazy, right? Let's take a look at the update log real quick. Okay, so looking at the update log, there has to be something crazy to get people back in the game, right? No way they just released the same thing for the 4th time in a row, right? It's added pie servers, cool. New Keyscape shop, okay. New world bosses. PvE in this game is garbage, so they're probably equally as boring. Tutorial, that's actually the only decent feature I see here, a tutorial. New elements, okay. Wasn't Benny Hime always in the game? Oh, Legacy, I should read more. So it seems like it's just new elements, new weapons. So basically it seems like a normal Type Soul update, but with a lot more, like, on a bigger scale. I think that's it. What the hell? This is just a regular Type Soul update. Like I said already, this is just a regular Type Soul update, but on a slightly bigger scale. They keep doing this shit where they shut down the game and then quote unquote re-release it, and it's just the same game with new content, like just new content. Like it's just a regular fucking game update, and people will still come back. So after looking at the update log, we can clearly see this is just a regular Type Soul update, but on a bigger scale, I guess. The game is the exact same. They just added new things to get bored of in a week, which is the same thing they've been doing. It's the same shit every time. Surely you guys know the definition of insanity, right? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Sound familiar? The Type Soul dev team has been doing this for years at this point. They released the game, it fucking sucks, people stop playing it, so they shut down the game, and then re-release it, and then advertise it as something new and crazy. The game revolutionized, so much more fun, so much more stuff to do, and completely different, and then you hop in the game, and it's the exact same game, with 1,000 more bugs for some reason. I get it, coding a game isn't the easiest thing to do, but you would think after the 3rd re-release, they would, you know, maybe learn from their mistakes. And the craziest part isn't even the dev team seemingly getting worse at their jobs every time Type Soul is released, it's the damn players. How do people keep coming back to the game like it's not the same thing they got bored of and stopped playing a couple months ago? Like, I genuinely don't get it. You have to wonder how Type Soul manages to keep players coming. It's not like they're actually doing anything to keep the players playing their game and supporting it, right? So what is it? Did they insert brain chips into our brains? Did they create a freaking Chainsaw Man devil contract with Netanyahu that makes it so that they keep getting players in the infinite loop as long as they keep fake shutting down the game and re-releasing it at the cost of their ability to fix bugs and make a good game? As funny as that would be, I don't think the devs did anything actually. I think it's a phenomenon that I've noticed, not just in Type Soul, but throughout Roblox in general. I call it the Type Soul mind control epidemic. The reason Type Soul is in the name is just because it's the most recognizable game with what I'm talking about, and the main one people even talk about right now. Basically, the Type Soul epidemic is really just when the player base of a game keeps supporting and playing a game despite the dev team behind the game neglecting the game and the player base. The games that I've personally noticed on are obviously the one is named after Type Soul, then there's Blox Fruits, ABA, and the Strongest Battlegrounds. These are the 4 most prominent examples of the Type Soul mind control epidemic that I've personally noticed. To help better explain the Type Soul mind control epidemic that I come up with, I'm gonna explain how each game seemingly mind controls their player base into playing their game despite the dev team neglecting the game and constantly releasing half-ass updates with a terrible update schedule. The first game being Type Soul. I don't really think I need to really dive into Type Soul, so I'll make this quick. Obviously, we all know the game is fucking ass. Even the players know it. They constantly say their game is ass, and when they play it, they do nothing but complain about the game as they're playing it, but they still play it anyways, and I have no idea why they do. The players will tell you it's because there's nothing else to play, which is just bullshit. Yes, I do agree, Roblox is dry as hell right now, but Type Soul is bottom of the fucking barrel, man. There's so many games that are better than Type Soul, and I'm going to rapid fire them right now. Block Tales, Fighting, Evade, Fish, Shonen Unleashed, Anime Vanguards, Pizza Game, Midnight Race in Tokyo, Car Crusher 2, Untitled Boxing Game, Souls RNG, Jujutsu Shenanigans, Football Fusion 3, Bee Swarm Simulator, Roblox and Headless Hangout, A Desert, and even fucking Grand Peace Online. All games that are better than Type Soul. Okay, I will admit, I did include like 2 games in there just to rage bait, but the rest of the games I do genuinely believe are better than Type Soul. And if you actually go in my comments defending Type Soul, I'm not gonna lie, you're a dork and I'm not even gonna bother replying to you other than just laughing at you. The devs literally don't even care about you and are milking you for cash every time they do their fake ass re-release. On to the next game, the Strongest Battlegrounds, or TSB for short. The TSB dev team honestly are not nearly as bad as the other dev teams I'm going to mention, but I still have to call them out on their terrible communication and update schedule. I think they genuinely have not released a meaningful update in like a year or two, and I've still been hovering around 50 to 60,000 players constantly. I have no idea how their game is still gaining this many players with no updates. And just now, they've shot up to 110,000 players from just releasing a trailer. The update isn't even out yet and they've gained almost 60,000 players. I do have to admit, the trailer looks amazing and the game is genuinely super well made. But the reason I have them on here is mainly because of their terrible communication and update schedule. If any other games on this platform, other than the ones I mentioned obviously, were to have the same communication and update schedule as TSB, that game would die. The players are super loyal without the devs giving them a reason to be so loyal. And at least the devs do end up delivering and giving the fan what they want. Eventually, but this isn't nearly the worst case of the type soul mind control epidemic. The other two games are some of the worst examples on this platform, like Blox Fruits. It's so funny how little effort the Blox Fruits dev team can put in and constantly have 200,000 to 300,000 players. I will say they're not as bad as they used to be. In the past, they literally went an entire year without an update and were still pulling 200,000 plus players at all times. And then when they came out with the Dragon update, they scammed the entire player base, which was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. But pretty much the whole reason they're here is because no matter what the devs do, they will keep getting players. They can take 3 years to update, they can scam the players, but they'll keep coming back. At least now they're actually updating the game a decent amount with events and stuff, and the stuff they release is actually pretty good quality and make their player base happy to a certain extent. But you cannot say that at all about ABA. ABA in the past was probably the worst offender of the type soul mind control epidemic. I don't know what it is, but the player base absolutely refuses to play anything else that's not ABA. Even when there's objectively better games of the same genre, they'll just stick to ABA, which literally makes zero sense to me. The dev team at one point genuinely did not give a shit about the game. They would literally take months to release like 3 characters that each take like 3 hours to make per character. I remember when they would constantly add characters that nobody wanted. They just wouldn't care and they would add the lamest shit ever. People would complain, but still play the game. I remember they did a character poll, and I remember Toji winning the poll, and I think a freaking Menos won the poll as well, which is pretty funny. But the dev that made Toji, I think it was Snake, he didn't like Toji. So when he made Toji with literally zero effort and thought put into him, all because he didn't like Toji and thought he was boring. Even though he was in a community voted character poll and won from the community votes, when you could have just removed him from the poll. He literally gave Toji skills like worm, knife, throw, and jump, which is actually really funny, I'm not gonna lie. If I still played the game and was a Toji fan, this would have really pissed me off. And the devs also just didn't add the Menos that won a community voted character poll. I don't care if you think the Menos would have been dumb or wouldn't have that many skills or whatever, it won the poll, so add it to the damn game. If you didn't want to add it, then don't add it to the poll in the first place. This is just some of the many examples of the devs straight up saying fuck you to their player base. And I promise you, it was way worse back then. Right now, the devs seem a lot better. Like, I'm just scrolling through their progress log in their Discord server, and I see that Snake apparently recoded the entire game, which I actually really like. That's some good stuff. If they did updates like these while I was still playing the game, maybe I wouldn't have quit in the first place. But now, why the hell would I play ABA when Shonen Unleashed exists on the same platform? So, to sum up why I consider ABA to be part of the type soul mind control epidemic, it's because the devs on multiple occasions have blatantly ignored what the players wanted, on top of constantly releasing a shit product when they updated every once in a blue moon. And despite that, the players still kept coming back to the game and getting hyped for each update. But I do admit, I have not kept up with the game in the past couple of months like at all, and from what I've seen in the progress logs in the Discord server, the problems I mentioned aren't as prevalent. But that doesn't mean everything I said doesn't apply. The devs were objectively bad devs at a point in time, and despite that, the players kept playing and supporting anyway, which is exactly what a game needs to fit into the type soul mind control epidemic. Yes, they're better now, but no matter what the devs do, the players will not leave this game. And I do have to mention that this example is not nearly as bad as Type Soul, mostly because of the game's player counts. ABA has an all-time peak of 42,000 players, and Type Soul has peaked at almost 200,000 players. So, in conclusion, the Type Soul dev team are literally one of the worst dev teams I've ever witnessed. Yes, I compared 3 other games to them, but Type Soul has by far the worst one. At least in the other 3 games, the devs actually give a shit now and don't release a buggy mess 3 times in a row. But as much as I've shit on developers in this video, all their blame really goes back to the players. I don't know why, but the players keep letting themselves get mind control. It's like you guys have some sort of kink where you like where developers hate you and only play the worst games with the worst update schedules and the worst quality. You don't really see this outside of Roblox, which is super weird. The only example I can really think of is like League of Legends, I guess. It's a super weird phenomenon that you mainly see on Roblox. So what do you guys think? What other game do you think fits under the type soul mind control epidemic umbrella? Do you think I missed anything, or do you think I pretty much hit everything? That's pretty much it for the video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see y'all next time.